Put down the black and brown face paint. Step away from the bronzer 12 shades darker than your skin. That is, if you're at all interested in not being a walking symbol of racism this Halloween. Wait, what's wrong with blackface? A lot of people, thankfully, don't need this question answered. Too many, it's obvious that it's a lazy, non funny costume, bad idea with a depressing history that is the opposite of celebratory. People have even made very simple visual aids to communicate this. But the public service announcements haven't worked. Each Halloween serves as a reminder that a giant gulf remains between people who understand that blackface is in bad taste or are willing to defer to black people who tell them so, and people who are still asking, but why? You know, the ones who are thinking as they read this, you say it's racist, but I can tell you right now, I'm not racist. So it's fine if I wear it. Come on, get over it. Stop with the political correctness. I don't understand how this is offensive. It's a joke. For the wide crowd, and for anyone who feels moved to have a dialogue with one of its members, here's an explanation of what exactly is wrong with wearing blackface on Halloween or ever. Blackface is much more than just dark makeup used to enhance a costume. Its American origins can be traced to minstrel shows in the mid to late 19th century. White actors would routinely use black grease paint on their faces when depicting plantation slaves and free blacks on stage. To be clear, these weren't flattering representations at all, taking place against the backdrop of society that systematically mistreated and dehumanized black people. They were mocking portrayals that reinforced the idea that African Americans were inferior in every way. The blackface characters that were staples of minstrel, think Mammy, Uncle Tom, Buck, and Jezebel, took a firm hold in the American imagination and carried over into other mediums of entertainment. Blackface has also been seen vaudeville shows and on Broadway. Yes, black actors sometimes wore blackface too, because white audiences didn't want to see them on stage without it. We have blackface performances to thank for some of the cartoonish, dehumanizing tropes that still manage to make their way into American culture. Beyond that, blackface and systematic social and political repression are so inextricably linked that, according to C. Vaughn Woodward's History, the Strange Career of Jim Crow, the very term Jim Crow, usually used as shorthand for rigid anti-black segregation laws enforced between the end of Reconstruction and the Civil Rights Movement, derives from an 1832 blackface minstrel number by Thomas D. Rice. There's no way around it. This particular costume choice has a terrible track record. No, minstrel shows don't really happen anymore. But keep in mind that it hasn't been all that long since blackface in its original form existed, and it was originally seen on television as recently as 1978 in the Black and White Minstrel Show. In respect for people who had to live through a time when blackface went hand in hand with day-to-day hateful and discriminatory treatment isn't enough to keep you from wearing it, consider this. There's a case to be made that it's tied up with some of America's worst racial dynamics. David Leonard, chair of Washington State University Department of Critical Culture, Gender, and Race Studies, explained it this way in his 2012 Huffington Post essay. Just Say No to Blackface, Neo, Mystery, and the Power to Dehumanize. See the connection? He told Vox that today, blackface reinforces the idea that black people are appropriate targets of ridicule and mockery, and reminds us of stereotypes about black criminality and danger. This says Leonard served to support implicit bias and discriminatory treatment and in areas from law enforcement to employment. Plus, in a society that allegedly values racial interrogation, isn't there something unsettling about the idea that the closest thing to an actual black person at your party could be someone smeared with the face paint and wearing a afro wig? Leonard says this creates a false sense of diversity in an atmosphere that includes everything but the actual person, the community, and the culture. Does that sounds like somewhere you'd be proud to be? A common refrain in defense of blackface is that it is all in good fun, a joke, harmless, or not done with the intent to bother anyone. Some have even gone further. Reasons Thaddeus Russell once wrote that the practice could be understood as a positive thing. But here's the thing, not feeling racist when you're wearing blackface does nothing to change how it affects those who see it. And today, thanks to social media, that doesn't just mean you're trick or treaters or the guests at the party you attend, it means the world. Your innermost thoughts don't change the impact blackface has on the people of all races around you, or the way it reinforces stereotypes and the idea that blackness is at best a joke. In many ways, one's intent is irrelevant, said Leonard. The harm, whether it's harm in terms of eliciting anger or sadness or triggering various emotions or causing black people to feel both hyper visible and invisible at the same time, is there. When someone says, I don't mean it that way, well, their real question should be not, did I mean it, but am I causing harm? And just say no to blackface. Leonard wrote that some people feel they should have the option to live in ignorance about what's wrong with blackface. That itself, he argued, said a lot about how racism works. The ability to be ignorant, to be unaware of the history and consequences of racial bigotry, to simply do as one pleases is a quintessential element of privilege. The ability to disappraise, to demonize, to ridicule, and engage in racially hurtful practices from the comfort of one's segregated neighborhoods. And racially homogeneous schools reflect both privilege and power, the ability to blame others for being oversensitive, for playing the race card, or for making ado about nothing are privilege codified structurally and culturally. So maybe you don't know anything about the history of mystery, and maybe you don't know anything about the pain and trauma of living in a society that imagines blackness as comically or criminally. That, according to Leonard, is the problem. The question to ask yourself, if you claim ignorance, is, he said, why don't you not know? And what have you done to make sure that you continue to not know? After all, embracing the chance to mock, dehumanize, and to dismiss the feelings and demand of others, all while reimagining history so that only thing you deem wrong and wrong or is a pretty great way to perpetuate a racist society that treats black people like crap. Finally, if you really cannot understand what's wrong with the blackface, challenge yourself to figure out what seems so right about it. Leonard suggests that blackface fans ask themselves, why do I derive pleasure from this? What's the investment in doing it? And what's the investment in defending it? If you can't answer that, but you're still set on doing something predictable and kind of embarrassing, there are plenty of ridiculous topical costumes to choose from this year. Maybe we suggest a sexy, undecided voter, Ken Bone. What do you think about blackface? Do you hate it? Do you love it? You shouldn't love it. I don't like it. Leave your opinions up under the comments. I'm sorry if I sound stuffy or if talking slow. I've been sick. I got the flu and stuff. But I enjoyed, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Subscribe and like and share. That was my sibling. She's being too loud. Um, but thank you. Yes. And I will keep coming with the videos.